All right. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well today. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is your weekly collective, and I really have grown to love these weekly collectives. I think you guys have as well, because this gives us a chance each and every Sunday to hit the reset button and take a look at the next 7 days, and that's what I'm going to help you do. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. My puppy Apollo will be along in just a moment to give us a hand and say hello as well. But let me begin by just showing you what we have in store for today. I always like to begin with some channeled messages. Channeled messages, of course, come through dreams and meditation. And today, in addition to the dream, sorry, not the dream, but I would say the totem that you chose, which was the butterfly, I also saw in my dreams a spider. And we'll talk about that as well. And basically for me, this works just the same way that tarot symbology and imagery does, where we can actually take information and energy from these sort of symbols and use them as a guide. So we'll start with that, and then we'll get into the 7-day forecast where we pull 7 cards for the week ahead, and then blessings blocks. The elemental breakdown, which is the only piece that's going to be sign specific. Everything else is for everyone that's present. And then after we do a viewer and reader's choice, we'll get into the special topic today, which, just so that I read it completely, is, again, the butterfly, breaking free, expressing yourself, and creating change. It was a very close, almost a tie actually today, and all the members, YouTube members and Patreon supporters helped definitely push that over the tie point. So thank you to everyone who voted. This is a really, really good topic because, as we're going to talk about in just a couple of moments here, there's a final phase in the metamorphosis of a caterpillar when it becomes a butterfly, and it has to break through the chrysalis. And that's kind of what this week is opening up for us, is that last thing where we're ready, but we have to push through. And so everything that we look at today will be kind of how to make that breakthrough, how to let go of some of the vestiges of the past and really become whatever it is you're trying to set forth here, not just maybe in the next week, but the rest of this year. Okay? So a couple of quick notes, and then we'll get straight into the channeled messages. First of all, welcome everyone. Dakota's here today to help with moderation. Thank you, Dakota. If you'd like to keep in touch with me and know what's coming through on each week, please join me on social media. All of my user handles are located right here. It's just my name, by the way. There's a lot of times where people will try to change the spelling or add characters. Always at Nicholas Ashbaugh. A quick reminder, I don't send DMs and I don't offer private readings, so it's a big red flag if anyone reaches out to you and says you've been chosen for a reading. It's not me. Please report them and let me know about that. If you'd like to also easily stay in touch with me and know what's going on, hit that subscribe button. It allows you to chat in live readings just like this, and also if you hit the bell icon, you'll be informed when new videos go live. And that's really important this month because I'm in the process of getting ready for a move. I'm not sure exactly all of the details yet. So the dates, I'm going to roll them out on a sort of gradual basis rather than put a whole month's worth out. So I'll probably do it per week. So it's a really good month if you've never subscribed or opted into notifications to do so. Okay. You can show some love and support in real time if you'd like to through SuperStickers and SuperChat or becoming a member. And I always say thank you at the very end for the folks that have done that. All right. With that being said, let's get into our channeled messages for today. Again, I really like both what you chose for me to talk about and also what dreams chose for me to talk about. And hey, Paula, you want to say hi real quick before we begin? This is my little furry assistant who's just waking up this morning. So let me take the graphic up for a second. I know a lot of you like to see this little guy. If he's awake, I let him come up to say hello and send us some love and support. So a couple little kisses there from Apollo. Let's let him get into his bed and relax. All right. So let's get this presentation going. And I'm glad you got to see the little pup before I began. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be talking about 2 totems today, the butterfly and the spider. We'll start off with the butterfly, and there's a lot to parse on this, so I'll just walk through it, and we'll keep the slide up on the side here. Today's reading is basically right between the chrysalis and the butterfly coming out of it. So if you've never seen all the different phases that a caterpillar kind of goes through in its life cycle, this is the last one, and it's at the point where it's hanging upside down and it's already started that metamorphosis. We're going to be looking at the phase where the butterfly is fully developed and it just needs to break through. The metamorphosis, or I would say the chrysalis phase, lasts about a week to just under a week and a half. Actually perfectly aligned for a weekly forecast. And there's a special name for the phase. I guess it's called eclosion, and it's triggered by hormones, which is something some of us may want to be looking at as if there's any sort of emotional or hormonal changes going on in our lives. But basically, what I wanted to look at is that final leap. So it's difficult sometimes pushing through. The butterfly has to struggle a little bit. Sometimes we struggle as we're making that last change. So sometimes it can be packing the last box in the moving van before you leave. It could be putting the signature on your resignation or divorce papers. It could be the acceptance letter too for something, or the marriage certificate. It's the final thing that you have to do, and there's a little bit of hesitation as you know you want to do it, but you have to sort of like push the hand to make the signature, or you have to walk out the door, lock the keys behind you, or open up a new door. And that's kind of what we're seeing as ends and beginnings. Also the emerging and then reinvention phase, and that's why I chose 2 cards to symbolize this. The Hermit, of course, would be the chrysalis, which is it's the equivalent of a cocoon. Cocoon is a phase for moths. Chrysalis is for butterflies. It's the hard shell that they go into to protect themselves and become something else. The Hermit in tarot would represent that inner work that we do. We're holding the lantern, we know what we want to become, and then we become the star, basically. Judgment represents life after death, or moving through 2 sort of junctures. It's a gateway card, and it's a phoenix rising from the ashes. So when there is an end, a beginning follows. That's why it's judgment and then the world. You have to accept, embrace, and see beyond what you were. So that's where you're at this week. That's an exciting place to be. I'll take it over Death in the Tower or the Ten of Swords or any of the other challenging ones, because you're pretty close. It's just this push. So I'm going to try to help you find a way to push yourself across the finish line this week. It's a breakthrough. So another fun fact, once you get through the chrysalis as a butterfly, you have to unfold and dry off your wings a little bit. You can look at some YouTube videos for this later if you want to. It's pretty cool. And basically, this is a short period. So the period of development, about a week to a week and a half. The period of breaking through and being able to fly again, it's maybe half an hour to 2 hours. So if we're looking at this in the form of a week, instead it might just be 1 or 2 days. Once you've made that decision, things start to get easier, the dust starts to settle, you feel like you're ready to spread your wings and fly. But even after you've done that signature or opening or shutting of the door, figuratively speaking, there's still this 1 or 2 day period of adjustment, and then things are good. And so, yeah, of course, if I had judgment, I'm going to follow up with the world, because this is where everything gets a little bit easier, a little bit more fun, and you see a payoff coming for you, okay? Now, the whole point for the butterfly is that it can fly. So why wouldn't I choose a travel card to represent the next phase? So you're seeing a trend here, holding on, breaking out, letting the dust settle, and then doing what you set out to do. And that's why we've got the 6 of Swords here. Travel and outreach are going to be an important part, probably towards the latter part of the week for you, as we go to like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So butterflies are pollinators, and they symbolize abundance. In order for them to be able to go from flower to flower, they've developed the wings. And you now have this ability to go places you couldn't go because you've changed. And because you've changed, the world starts to shift and work around you. And that's why you always want to, sometimes we have to sort of have the change within in order to open up doors. This is not saying that you need to change to please others. You're changing so that you can step into your own path, into your own truth. And then the world starts to react and see you differently. But you have to see yourself differently first and project the inner butterfly, basically. And in meditation today, maybe we'll do that. We'll just see like all these butterflies coming from the heart space, because that's kind of what my guides are showing me as we're speaking. So don't, rather than trying to change someone's frequency, especially someone that's belligerent or not accepting or not sort of rolling with your punches, you want to kind of change your own energy, change from within, and watch how the world changes around you. So rather than trying to change the people, change from within, elevate the frequency, step into your path, and then other people will either fall away or they'll rise up and see, wow, this is exciting. This is not what I expected. I'm open to that. Don't push against a door that's locked. See which door opens and kind of go with that energy too. I think sometimes we have to pay attention to resistance and rejection. A lot of times these are the universe trying to help us avoid a potential misstep, okay? Keep looking, keep traveling. There is an open door or more than one open door out there for you. And so explore. This is your chance to explore and have some outreach, okay? Now let's move on to the second symbol, and this is the one that was given to me as I got up this morning. And it reminds me of a children's book that I think many of us have read. Maybe they don't show this as much in schools now as they used to, but Charlotte's Web, I think many of us are familiar with that. And I saw an egg sac with the mother spider, and I saw a bunch of baby spiders all over the place. They're all over the floor. And it reminded me as I was sitting here this morning of when Charlotte tells Wilbur of her life's creation. She said, "This is my magnum opus, my big work, my major work." And of course, with this, there is the message that she's going, but she's leaving a legacy for him, and that's her children, grandchildren, etc. So he's never going to be alone, basically. So there's a bittersweet energy with this, which is, it's hard, and I even get a little choked up when I think about it, but it's hard sometimes. For some of you, you're very attached to something, and I can energetically and emotionally feel that. But the universe is saying, but look at this. It's not just an ace of pentacles, it's an ace within an ace within an ace, because there's all these eggs inside of it. It's the ultimate sort of symbol of prosperity. So a new cycle awaits you. The best is yet to come, magnum opus, life's work. And if you haven't yet figured out what your legacy is, what your big purpose is, this is a week to begin it. And as we step into the main part of today's focus, then in a special topic, then hopefully it'll start to come together for you. But yeah, I don't actually ever think I took the spider metaphor here because I hadn't seen the egg sac before. And it reminded me of that children's book. And that was like maybe one of the first times where, like in a children's book, they talk about death, but then they also talk about rebirth or like that legacy thing. So I definitely remember this. It was like from the second grade when we read it. And I had to go back today and kind of look at the final pages of the book, and it was all there. So just know this, there's exciting chapters ahead. Something's wrapping up, but something better awaits you. And that's what the mama spider was bringing through in dreams for you today. I believe that's it. Okay, the last thing now is some very specific health messages. So sometimes I pick up on these in dreams, and I did today. So there are people that need to hear it. It may not apply to everyone, but I'm going to say just generally speaking, everyone would benefit from taking a little bit of time and focusing on your health. I did pick up on some themes of exhaustion. It was centering around the head and the eyes and the brain. So of course that makes sense. Some of us will get headaches or migraines. Some of us might be internalizing some stress. There could also be some issues with vision or balance. And if any of these things are going on, I always like to put a disclaimer up. I'm just looking at energetic trends, but absolutely work with the appropriate professionals. I also put that in the slide itself here because this may not apply to everyone, but if it does apply to you, my guides were encouraging me to tell you to take care of yourself. So give yourself the rest you need and really focus on mental health, eye health, I would say even inner ear, the brain area in general. And we take it for granted a lot of times. Just because you can't see the inner workings doesn't mean that it's not one of the most important organs in your body. So also what you feed yourself is going to feed the brain as well. So you are what you eat. Eat well, sleep well, and if you need to go to the appropriate doctor to kind of make sure that everything's okay, even if it's a psychologist or if it's a neurologist or an optometrist. I'm just getting this region. And again, inner ear can also be an ear, nose, throat specialist. So just take care of that part of your body. A lot of times we're focusing more on, we always go to, get our teeth cleaned, we get a regular physical, there are different doctors that we go to, but sometimes we don't focus on this. And that's what my guides wanted you to focus on. All right, pretty clear message there. Welcome everybody. If you just joined, perfect timing. We're going to look at the 7-day forecast before we get into the special topic today, which was all about butterflies and allowing yourself to break free, express yourself, and to create change and something new in your life. All right. So at this point, I'm just gonna pick the decks that are speaking to me. For this, I'm gonna use the Light Seers deck because I like that Death card. It really connected nicely with Charlotte's Web. So I'll begin with this and let's see what's coming through for everyone. All right, so this is gonna be from Sunday to Sunday. Good to see all of you. Hope you're doing well. One for today, Sunday, Monday. Okay, so let's go ahead, take a look at these cards and get a feel for the next 7 days. I like what I see so far. Nothing that is unmanageable here. Everything seems reasonable. Okay, let's begin with today, which is the Chariot. So if you're watching this live, we've got the Chariot in reverse, which represents a change of direction. Could also be a change of who's in charge. You may also be deciding to exercise your own ability to manage, to lead. One thing that's important with this, think of, like, many of you have probably driven with someone who refuses to listen to instructions or admit when they're lost. Thankfully, nowadays, this is a little less of a problem because the phone will be telling you, like, turn this direction or redirecting, you missed something. But I remember like 15, 20 years ago when you had to get out maps and there'd be someone trying to co-pilot and you both be lost. And so someone needs to know where they're going, and sometimes people don't take direction or don't listen. So if that's happening, take a moment to reset with whomever it is that you're with to make sure that you're both on the same page and going in the right direction. If someone's given you constructive criticism, or if you're trying to just sort of like listen to the internal compass and think, do I want to go here? That's really what I'm getting with this card is GPS, direction, and then making sure that these two horses are working together and not apart from one another, okay? So cooperation, clarity, and also making sure that you feel that the direction is good and right for you. As long as those things are in alignment, I feel like you're going to be okay and things will come into focus. All right, let's move from this energy of direction and control. The other thing is who's the boss, who's driving. So you have a chance to step into that energy if you want to. All right, let's move from today, Sunday, to tomorrow, Monday. We have the Queen of Swords and she's reversed, which indicates a very outspoken, a very active sort of day for many of you. One thing that you want to be mindful of is speaking before you think. The Queen of Swords has a really great ability to get a message out there and for it to stick. The reverse is also a really powerful no or yes or even constructive criticism. We just want to be mindful of how our communications and our actions affect other people. And as long as you are mindful of that and the intended action and the intended result is what you wanted, then that's great. But sometimes there's a need with this card reverse to simply pause for a second and get a read, a nonverbal cue from the person or a verbal affirmation before continuing. So listen, whenever I get any of the court cards in the Suit of Swords reversed, it's sometimes less about talking, more about listening. Even if you're listening to yourself and listening to the tone so you can modulate it or change it, listen to yourself and then listen to the room and then say what you want to say, and it will be even more powerful. Give pauses where necessary. Try to avoid filler words. Just kind of let the space exist and see what people do. Pretty good day, actually, I have to say. And if there's anything that's been requiring a signature or a final sort of decision, you probably can get to it on Monday. You may have to be the person initiating it, but I do see a reply, and you're in a position of power with Queen of Swords. One of my favorite cards, and even when reversed, she's very, very powerful, sometimes even more so because she's super direct. Contracts probably need a revision or an edit, though, with this card in reverse, so don't be afraid to do that if necessary. Looks pretty good. Okay, Tuesday. This is a day where you are going to be in the creative flow. We have the Ace of Cups here. You may also be in a place where you're just feeling more connected to people around you. You might want to focus more a little bit on love. Might be hard to even concentrate on other things that matter. I would say your heart wants to come through in some way, shape, or form, so make time for it. Whether it's deciding that this is going to be a day off, or that it's going to be a date night, or that you are going to allow yourself to do something creative. Also, if there's something coming through from the heart, like, I really like this, or I really like this person, or this is not at all what I signed up for and I'm unhappy. Listen to this. The heart's your compass. On Monday, it's your throat chakra that's open and powerful, and it's the power of your actions. So talking the talk and walking the walk. On Tuesday, it's how you put your heart into things and how you use your heart to also kind of connect with others. So where words or facts or logic or something written in a contract may be best to focus on Monday, connecting with someone and letting them know that you empathize with them, doing something that just really shows your passion, that's what's going to be important on Tuesday. It's a great day, more for people and passion, whereas Monday's more for like getting stuff done. As we get to the middle of the week, at Wednesday, we have the Five of Swords. This is a tricky card, but with the card in reverse, which is how I prefer to see the Five of Swords, you're ready to walk away from drama. To quote Mary J. Blige, no more drama. No more unnecessary conflicts or conversations. We see someone here in the background that you can read it in a lot of different ways. To me, they look happy. You could just imagine that they're like, yeah, I got through that. There could also be someone that's trying to get your attention, and like a broken record, they're saying the same thing. And the person in the foreground could just be thinking to themselves, oh my God, not again. So one thing that you want to do if you're in the presence of someone that doesn't take no for an answer, that's trying to push your buttons, that's just like, yeah, the broken record. The best thing is to not engage too much with them. You don't want to fight fire with fire. You just want to put a limit down and hold to that. One thing that you want to be careful of is completely shutting them out or shutting the door. You can just say, I heard, and I'll take it into consideration, and I've got something else I've got to focus on right now. So let them know that you've heard them, and that and eventually, if they're not getting the attention that they need from you, they'll seek it from someone else. The Five of Swords typically is a warning as well that you can't necessarily, quote unquote, win an argument. To quote a line in the original Star Wars, we may not be able to win, but there are other ways to fight. There's other ways to go about it. Obi-Wan said that. So sometimes when you see a losing battle, you look for another route, because that's not worth the time. That's not worth the time and energy. And so there maybe what you're going to do is retreat from this, see a better kind of connection or a better person, and go to that person instead. So don't see this as a loss, and don't see this as something that you have to do. Five of Swords means that it's just not a good energetic investment. There's a better way. So look for the better path. Look for a better time. Maybe it's the wrong time. Maybe it's the wrong person. Maybe it's the wrong approach. Something needs to be revised on Wednesday. So I would say when it comes to communication or conflict negotiation, this isn't the day to do it. It's the day to strategize. So strategy is good. Focusing on something that is receptive to your energy would be good too, because you could simply be feeling like you're spinning your wheels on Wednesday. So when that happens, stop the motor, focus on something else, come back when you are ready, when the environment's more receptive. Remember, sometimes you have to change so the environment can pick up on the change, and then the gates start to open up for you. So redirection, focusing, research, all of that stuff is going to suit Wednesday. You can get other stuff done. It may not be what you wanted, but it's going to be a better use of your time and energy. Thursday is possibly one of the best days of the week here. We have people that are knocking on your door. The Ten of Cups in reverse can sometimes be too many people, too much energy, just a lot. It comes through because you have a lot to offer. People may need a lot of support from you. They're used to you being able to say, hey, this is the answer, or yeah, come on in, and you make them feel safe and you listen to them. If you need support, if you need that sort of safety net or whatever it is, don't be afraid to reach out and say what it is, because you put a lot of coins in the karma sort of jar here, and it's okay if you need to tap into that as well. The other thing with the 10 of Cups in reverse is peer pressure, family pressure, community pressure. A lot of times people have a dream of what it is that they want you to do, or there's a consensus. Three of Cups in reverse can be like this, but the Ten of Cups is even more. It's people that you care about and that know you, that are really trying to sometimes use that sort of connection to coerce you into doing something you don't want to do. So I would say stand your ground, say no, ask for help if you need help. Ultimately, the Ten of Cups is abundance. It's just here there's a little bit of pressure to try to please everyone. So you don't have to please everyone. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say no. The good news is I see a lot of energy of people and support and friends around you. Great day for networking. If you need help, ask for help. If you're trying to get some sort of project endeavor or anything in your life done, you've got the support network here and they're open to you. They may not be used to hearing from you, but you're going to be able to pull them in. And we see this beautiful sort of symbol of a musical scale here and all of that in front of us here. So use your words, weave a good sort of narrative here, and they'll be able to come in and help you if you need it. Great day to date, to spend time with friends, to spend time with family. It just may go longer than you expected. So if they say, hey, come and hang out for, a half hour, an hour, you're going to be there for like 3 hours. There's just more of the family or the friends than you anticipated, but it's still a fun card and it's still an engaging energy. So just know when enough is enough. As we get to Friday, this is a day of reclaiming your balance. So I rarely read it as solely a resource card, though I'll start with that. The Two of Pentacles, when we read it at face value, is saying you want to balance out your checkbook, you want to balance out your resources. When I look at it in a broader context as a reader, it's usually about making a difficult choice. There may be something on paper that makes a lot of sense, but your heart is saying, I want to do that instead. You may have achieved everything that you wanted, but you've lost something that you really kind of miss. So you might like have a title or pay at a job that you want, but the work satisfaction isn't there. You may have been able to get with the person in your life that you want, but maybe you've lost a little bit of the freedom or independence or personality that you had before. This is just about finding that perfect balance, reclaiming a little bit of what is lost, stepping in and saying, I want to focus on this and not this. A lot of times you are faced with a difficult decision where you're torn and it's sort of like shades of gray. You're going to have a little bit of compromise in either direction. One of them is going to pull you stronger. Focus on that. Find your balance, or find, again, with the Two of Pentacles, there's always a hidden ace. Anytime we have Two of Swords, Two of Pentacles, often we're feeling like, uh-oh, and it's just a matter of saying, I choose this. So what we see here is a symbol of, there's two, you can see the two aces, but one is like really clear and one is more in the dreaming area. And sometimes we go with what's tangible and clear and guaranteed, but to really grow, to be the butterfly, which is the point of this week, a lot of times we have to focus on the dream and we have to break through to that dream. And I can think in many parts of my life where sometimes I choose it, sometimes I have to do it. So like choosing to leave one career and start another one, that's an example. Having to leave this house, I didn't have much of a choice because of the constant construction. So sometimes we're given an opportunity, sometimes we're pushed. Either way, you see the writing on the wall and you have to read it at some point. So that's what this week is about, is finding like, okay, it's comfortable to stay, but I have to go. And the Two of Pentacles is asking you to embrace the have to go or the possibilities of this, rather than seeing it as being forced, see it as being encouraged and being led to that opportunity. Okay? So there you go. Let's take a look at next weekend, which is really cool here. There's something unexpected coming through next Saturday. So we have the Five of Cups as the first card that I pulled, which could be, for many of you, focusing on something that is challenging, bothersome, not the way that you expected, and missing out on what I always say is there, which is the Two of Cups. This time we actually saw it in the form of the Lovers, and the Lovers was reversed here. So we have something unexpected, and the unexpected thing is love or support, someone who actually does see you eye to eye. Literally, that's what's happening in this card, is someone's seeing you for what you're worth. And sometimes we disbelieve that because we haven't yet gone to that phase, that final metamorphosis phase, and become the butterfly. So if somebody sees potential in you, they're on target. We see this beautiful sort of could be a Sagittarius in your life, but I'm looking just at the fact that it's kind of like this person is like spot on. It's like bullseye. So if someone wants you to take a leap and try something new and you trust them, trust their faith in you. Why would you lack faith in them in the moment that they are kind of trying to lift you up? If you've given up on something like love or partnership, this is saying look in a different place. We've still got 2 cups. You're focusing on the ones that have fallen. There's still 2 cups there for you. So a change of perspective changes your future, changes your life, changes your energy. And it attracts opportunity. Because ultimately the lovers can be a person or an opportunity or just an energetic vibe. And I like the vibe that I'm getting here, okay? Great day to accept an invitation to a party or a date. A great day to get out there and to just connect with new people. You could make an unexpected alliance, a new friend, a new connection, possibly love. I like it. And I like it because this person sees your potential or sees you. Sometimes we're around people that hang out with us, but they're not really connecting with us. They're not truly being present. We have a presence in this card. Again, an intimacy in this card that we don't always see. Someone really sees you and likes what they see. As we look at the a week from today, looking at next Sunday, we have the Queen of Wands, one of my favorite cards in any of the decks, doesn't matter, because she's powerful, she's magical, she's able to kind of break through barriers, which is, again, the main focus here, breaking through the chrysalis today. So the Queen of Wands doesn't accept no necessarily for an answer, and I'm not talking about when someone doesn't want to date you or something like that. It's more sort of like, I can't do this. You can find a way around it. She thinks through and finds a better solution. She is innovative, and the innovation is going to be the key thing. So if there's an initial rejection, again, always remember rejection is either redirection and or protection. It's both, really. So the universe is saying, not this, not now. How about this? It's waiting for you to find the other way around. The better path, as Obi-Wan was kind of trying to lead Luke and other people to. So look to the better path. Know that the first rejection was protection. The first no was simply not now. And there's something around the corner that's going to be a yes. Another door, another person, another opportunity will be interested. So she's thinking about, how can I improve upon myself or this thing so that I can get to that next thing? Because I don't like this. And this wasn't, the timing was off. But you're going to be able to open a door. It's the beginning of a new process. It's a sparking of inspiration or intuition. You want to work a little bit next Sunday if you can, whether it's sort of just thinking it through or writing it out or talking it out. It's a good day for getting a firm hold on things, okay? And this is the first time in a while that the weekend's looking really fabulous a week from now, because it's been challenging over the past couple of weeks. So I feel like we've worked through collectively a lot of the issues that we needed to, and it's looking really sunny. The whole week is pretty good. Yeah, there's someone that's giving you a headache on midweek, but that's any week. And yeah, there could be a chance where you're sort of wondering, like, how did I get here? What am I doing? A little bit of soul searching here, but most of the cards are fairly positive. So I feel like you've got a great week ahead of you. Okay, if I were to pick the challenges, the opportunities, I would say direction and being on the same page, walking away from any unnecessary conflict, not losing focus, and instead using your voice, trusting your heart, tapping into the network that exists around you, really choosing one thing and focusing on it. And if you do that, you have this attractive energy and you have the ability to make it happen. And that's what we want to open up for this week. All right. So let's just let me rearrange the cards here for a moment. And we're going to move on to the blessings and the blocks for the week ahead. So let me just get everything set up here so I have a little bit more real estate on the table. And then we'll take a look at the blessings and blocks. Just like they sound, this is going to be a chance for you to look at something to really embrace and maybe something that you want to be careful of and not get sort of pulled into. All right, so let's see which cards are calling me here. All right, blessing and block for the week ahead. Let's see what's in store for us. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having a great weekend so far. Okay, so we've got a blessing here and a block here. Let's look at them up close. All right, the blessing for the week ahead is the Nine of Wands. So this is being able to push through. This is the survivor card. You want the Nine of Wands on your side. If we were to look at it in a traditional deck, we would see someone who has been through the battle and then some, and they're feeling very decisive and very sort of ready to kind of see the final leg of this race. So this week, when you're feeling like, can I do it? Should I do it? Is it worth the trouble? I want you to take a moment and just sort of look back and say, you know, why else would I be here? I've worked so hard. I look at how far I've come. Look at all of the things that I've overcome. And you know that 10th wand is within reach, which means that you can move on, not have to look back, not have to have any regrets. The Nine of Wands, you can see the bandage around the head, which really closely aligns to what I was talking about in channel messages this morning. So take time to make sure that you're getting rest, that you're thinking with a clear head, and that once you are clear and calm and rested, then all you have to do is basically push through and you're going to be carried through to the end, okay? But a little bit of self-care is necessary because we do sometimes get beaten up in the sort of energy of going after our dreams, and you just want to basically recharge before that final leg of the race. It's like getting a little bit to drink or catching your breath. Catch your breath. Once you do that, I see success. The block this week, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. So some of you, it's kind of cool. We have the feather here. And if you think of a feather, sometimes it has to kind of like redirect and float around to find the energy that it can kind of follow, find the wind flow that it's going to work with. So some of you might feel like you just need to level out a little bit. So if it's been emotionally taxing for you, if you've been supporting a lot of people, if you're just feeling a little off, do something to take care of the heart as well. Have some fun, have a laugh. Maybe it's watching an old show or movie that you like that just brings you into a better mood, or hanging out with some friends. Do something to really take care of mental and emotional health over this next week so that you can be your best. And we all need that help from time to time. So that's what I'm picking up on here. Could also just be a little sad, a little triggered. Something comes through where you lose it for a second, and that's okay. Rather than thinking of losing it, it's an interesting sort of phrase that we use for that. You could also be finding or processing or parsing the emotion. Maybe you're truly finding and understanding what it is that it triggers you. So rather than imagine that you're losing composure, imagine that you're releasing, which is the whole purpose of this reading this week. Releasing, understanding, processing. So I think there needs to be a little bit of release and processing energy for you this week. And once that happens, any of you, I think everybody here has cried at one point. When you have a good cry, there's this sense of relief. You feel better. There's a kind of like chemical thing that happens in our body. And you take a few deep breaths and you got the energy out. You can laugh, you can cry. Things can pass through your body as well. There's different ways, also sweat, but we get rid of things in multiple ways. Crying is one of them, and it's healthy. So if you need to have a good cry, fine. If not, do one of the other things. Laughter that's why at a funeral sometimes there's laughter and tears. Or if there's anything really, sometimes you're happy, like it can be, accomplishing something, getting free of debt, graduating, meeting the love of your life, whatever it is. Sometimes you're when you commit or connect with that energy, you might laugh and cry at the same time because it's just like an overload. So do what you can to kind of clear up all of that and just process all of that and find your new normal. You've not lost anything. You've found something. All right. So we just went through channel messages, 7-day forecast, blessings and blocks. Now we're going to do the elemental breakdown. This elemental forecast is basically us looking at fire, earth, air, and water. It's the only portion where I'm going to kind of drill into all of those signs specifically. So let me pull a deck of cards for this, and then we'll take a look. I think I want to use the Wild Unknown if I can find it, and then we'll go to the next phase here. So give me just a second. If not, I have a backup. Let's see. I don't see it at the moment. I'll try to get it when we do the main voting here. Oh, I see it. It's okay. I'm going to choose a different one for this. I'm going to do let's see, I think this one is called the field. The other one's a fountain, so we'll do the field one for this one. Okay, let's pull all the cards first, and then I'll bring them up to the camera. So this is going to be for fire. This is going to be for earth. This will be for air. And this is going to be for water. So we have 3 reversals, 1 upright. Very interesting. Let's begin with messages for fire signs. So this is going to be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We have the High Priestess coming through for you this week. She's reversed, however. When I pulled her, she was reversed. So the High Priestess in reverse is saying, I know what's coming. I know what I need to do. For some reason, I'm doubting self. I'm doubting power. I'm doubting direction. But I don't need to do that. I just need to take this leap of faith, reclaim my power, reclaim my vision, and trust in myself. So that's the main focus for fire this week, is to basically listen to your gut, your intuition. Also, trust the overall creative vision that you have for something that you want to do. And know that if somebody tries to get the better of you or try to kind of like manipulate something, you'll probably see through that, which is great. So trust, again, initial reads of people. And long before intuition is often understood, we're able to sometimes like judge character or judge a situation or sense if there's been a difficult conversation in the room. Almost everybody has a core intuition for these things. Listen to it. It's going to serve you. It's going to help you. It's going to guide you. Some of you may be focusing a little bit more on development this week. One thing that's interesting with intuition, and I'll often give it to people if I'm asked like, how can I get better with this? It is subtle, and it is the first thing that comes to mind. So it's often very effective if you want to like just write down the stuff as it's coming. You can channel it that way. You can also just record it or just say it. Don't think through it too much. Trust what you're being shown, and think of yourself as a reporter to yourself, basically. You're getting information. You have to write it down, or you have to ask questions and then see and do what you say. So you're a reporter, but then you're also following up on it. It's a lot easier for me to come here and report for you, and then for all of us. A lot of times when you're doing it for yourself, it can be a little tougher. So it'll probably come through in dreams or just a persistent thought. And if you can't get that thought out of your head, then that's what you need to focus on. If you're looking at opportunities and you walk in or read or connect with someone and you think an initial no, trust the initial no, okay? So you can develop your skills this week. They're coming through on multiple channels. Just pay attention, okay? And if anyone around you is trying to pull the strings, you can see it, and you want to cut those strings this week, because it's about your own power, your own journey, your own choice. Okay, so that's my message and messages for all the fire signs: Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Let's go now from fire, and let's focus on the earth signs here: Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. You have a great card this week, also reversed, but let's look at it upright. We have the Three of Wands. Again, probably one of my favorite minor arcana cards, because it is a message that what you seek is en route. In fact, it's probably already happening. Let's just take a peek at the traditional Three of Wands while we're chatting, and we'll talk about it a little bit. The interesting thing with the Three of Wands is sometimes we can make things happen a little faster if we're willing to meet someone halfway, because there's a passive energy with it where you see someone waiting on the hill for the ships to come in. The ships are coming in. Know this: if you've been working hard on something or for something to happen, now is the time when it's happening. But the universe is saying, do you believe it? Do you see it? So here are the two cards, like back to back. So we have the Two of Wands, which is the initial sort of conjuring it up in your head, and then the Three of Wands, which is the universe saying, I'm glad you had that vision. I believe in you. Here it is. And you're kind of at the center of all this, symbolized here by this little dot. You're the conductor. You're the one bringing it in. Notice how there's actually a six-pointed star on here. We see as above, so below, also showing you the connection to the magician energy. So the traditional Three of Wands, I would always say the person can go to the docks or go to the shore and wave those ships in so that they can get there a little faster. Or, there's a chance to not be so passive and to also see everything that's around you. So if you feel like it's not happening, look closer and look in different directions. It's happening, okay? And remember that you are that conduit right here. As above, so below. And when I see the two triangles pointing in both directions, air and earth, it's reminding you to be the person that is basically bringing that to life, okay? So even when you think it's in the wrong direction, it's still in the right direction. There's that hidden arrow right there, okay? So things are happening. The unfolding that I talked about also is a part of this. So sometimes it just takes a day or two for everything to unpackage, to sort of like arrive at the right place at the right time, but it is happening. Okay, so very good. And also this would probably lead you to the energy of Tuesday or Wednesday, 3 days. So pay attention to that as well. If you see it, if you've worked hard for it, don't give up now. Last message that I wanted to kind of convey to all my earth signs. Focusing now on air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You have the second to last card that I actually put in the channel messages, which was the Six of Swords, also reversed. So this can be a change in direction. It actually also has the word transition on it, which is great. As you guys know, this is one of the death cards that you can pick in tarot. Four of Swords, Six of Swords, Death, Judgment. Those are just a few of the cards of transformation. The Six of Swords to me is one of the more fun ones because, like it or not, the wheels of change are moving. You are moving with the Six of Swords. There isn't that sense of I can't do this. And it's more a question of how fast do you want to move? Not can you or should you? It's about how fast can you do this? How fast are you willing to accept and embrace the changes coming your way? Because like it or not, it's happening. And one thing that you can do with this to make the ship go in the right direction, so it's reverse, which means you might be taking a curvy path, you might have to backtrack a little bit. What you can simply do is think to yourself a couple of mantras. One, I can do this. Not only can I do this, but I will do this. And this is going to be easier than I thought, or better than I thought. And I open myself up to see another solution or a better path. This isn't the only way. So air signs are like, I'm not stubborn, but in this week, there could be a little bit of stubbornness or a little bit of disbelief that is holding you back from seeing the Three of Wands, which just came through for all the earth signs. So air, just open up a little bit, and you already have the ability to see from different angles. Once you do that, it'll go faster, it'll be better. You can make this transition happen even more seamlessly than you might have imagined, okay? So it's happening. For you, it's already en route. You're on the ship. So for all the signs so far, here's the interesting thing. They're all ones of empowerment. We're going to talk about the last one in just a moment, but let me look at it for this one. So for this one, there's an illusion because we have the Hanged Man, but I would say all the cards previous to this were empowerment. So we have High Priestess, we have the Three of Wands, and now we have the Six of Swords. So these are all moving. This is the card of being able to manipulate, move, strategize, manifest. This one shows that what you did actually made it happen. And this one is, it's already happening. Now, the only particular element that's struggling a little bit, and it's also okay, is the element of water. And so for Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, this card actually says perspective, which is interesting. It is the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man does come through as a momentary pause to help us gain perspective and also help us gain some power and insight. So let's look at the traditional Hanged Man, everybody's favorite. And here we go. So here we have Hanged Man, number 12. And really what it's showing us is, you see that beautiful nimbus or halo around his head. It's the universe coming in to give you a different way to see something. In the traditional myth that goes behind this, Odin hangs from the tree of life, or the tree of knowledge rather, to gain the secret of the runes, the secret of the universe. And he had to wait a while. and there was some sacrifice involved with that. But it wasn't a waste of time. He became very wise. So you're finishing something, you're being put into the pause position, and while you're pausing, keep looking. So let's imagine, for instance, you are waiting to hear back from an employment opportunity. and nobody's getting back to you. While you're waiting for that, apply somewhere else and apply somewhere else. Get the energy moving. So even if it's the one that you want, so that what you're telling them is, I can take or leave this. You should want me because I'm starting to explore other options. I'm not putting all of my eggs in that basket. So you're going to broaden your perspective, like we saw with the Three of Wands, and look in other areas and say, well, if this doesn't work, there's something better. And it's going to be more receptive to me. Every time I've been, again, rejected from something, whether it's an application for a job or an apartment, or you ask someone out on a date and they say no, it's for your better good. It's not because you're being punished. It's usually because that situation was a mismatch. So you're being asked to look at something closer and get a better perspective of it before committing to it. There is already an opportunity in front of you, but you may be able to do one better. So for all of my water signs, use your heart, use your head, use your third eye, and just think, does it feel good enough for me, or am I just taking it because it's in front of me? So you're either being asked to pause, or you've been pushed to pause by the universe because you're waiting to hear back from someone. So control what you can control in your life, open up new doors if you can, and if something isn't reacting, that also in and of itself is communication. It's just someone that's indecisive. And you want someone that wants you. You want someone that's connected to you. You want the energy that we saw for all the air signs where things are moving. Even if they aren't ready to move, things are moving, okay? Both of these cards have ships in them, even though you don't see it in this one. The Three of Wands, as you saw, traditionally has ships coming in. So movement, and then this is like the captain of all the ships here. So you're just being asked, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want this? And is it worth the wait? And if you are unsure or you say no to any of those things, then something else will open up and it's going to be better than you thought, okay? So don't settle for less than the best. Don't worry. Things will break through. It may take a little bit longer for you than the other signs, but it is going to happen. We saw that very magnetic energy around Saturday of next week. We also saw really great energy on Tuesday and Thursday. So you have a lot of portals that open things up. On the days where you feel more of a plateau, don't freak out, all right? So that's the elemental forecast. The next thing that we're going to focus on is the viewers and the reader's choice. So let's take a look at all the cards here on the table and see what might make sense for the viewers and reader's choice, and then we'll get into the forecast here in just a few moments. Okay, so viewers and reader's choice. Let me grab my keyboard and we'll chat. Okay, so for today, I'm going to set a poll up for all of you. And as I do this, we'll get ready for this. All right, so I want to kind of help some of you out that are having some issues with the perspective. So how to see things from another angle. I'm going to put POV here because I ran out of space. Okay. Or see things from another point of view. There we go. Sorry, there's a character limit for these. From another angle. All right. Next thing is, I really was drawn to the Chariot card at the beginning. So I'm going to ask how to get back on track. How to get things back on track. Okay, I'm going to look at this as the reader, so we'll hold back on that. This one's a really interesting one. So setting, how to set better boundaries. All right, so these are your choices for the viewer's choice. I'll let you go ahead and vote on those. While you're voting on those, I'm going to go to a different deck here. We'll use the Afro Goddess for this. And I'm going to take a look at... What was I going to take a look at? Let's see. I've actually forgotten. What was I going to look at for you guys? I'm going to refocus on this here. We were doing boundaries here. Oh, yeah. Making a choice. Actually, I'm going to do a wild card while I'm deciding this. Oh, seeing things from a different angle. Thank you. No, that's actually one of the choices. All right, so I'm just going to do wild card. I'm going to say, what is it that you need to focus on? What is it that you need to focus on to really make this week amazing? Because clearly that's what I need to look at. All right, so for the Ace of Cups here, follow your heart. And I feel like I've already talked about this a little bit. So first of all, there may be a really exciting relationship or an expansive opportunity that's in front of you. So if you have a chance to sort of like embrace with somebody or embrace something new or connect with somebody new, that's going to be key. If you look at this Ace of Cups, you see a little tiny flower at the top there, which basically shows that not only can things get better, but they will get better. But in order to do that, you have to go through all the sort of challenges. So whenever I see a water lily, it's a recognition of the work that you've done on yourself, dealing with some of the murkier parts of your life. So if there's something where you think I could have or should have done better, or I needed to take more accountability on that, there's a shift, and then things start to get better for you as well. Okay. So that's what I'm focusing on instead, is choosing the path of happiness, choosing to do the inner work so that you can be happy, and believing that happiness is possible. Sometimes we start to lose hope a little bit, and we just think to ourselves, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do with this? And at the end of the day, it's sort of like you have to just hold out the faith that you are deserving of something that brings you more satisfaction, and it's actually okay for you to do something that makes you happy. Sometimes your parents will say, this isn't right, you should focus on this, or teachers say, don't laugh, don't goof off, and it's all about like work. But there is this connection to joy and happiness that's a part of life, and that's the whole purpose here as well. We're not supposed to just work. Okay, let's take a look at what you chose for me, and let's see how to get things back on track by a really big margin here, by over 40%. So let's take a look for those of you that are feeling like the road is leading you down a winding path. How can you get things back on the right path? Good question, good choice. All right, so we have the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is reversed. Let's talk a little bit about the message with the Nine of Swords. All right, so Nine of Swords. There's another deck here that's pretty cool with this. I think it might be the Field Tarot. And on that one, you actually see all of these lines coming into the person. And a lot of times, the pain, the frustration, the anxiety that we all deal with, it's not necessarily ours. It's from our family. It's from our friends. And we have this sort of all these cords going to them. And a lot of times, we can also put ourselves into this rabbit hole of fear, doubt, and frustration. And for some of you, it can come in the form of insomnia. It might also be like TMJ. It could be a panic attack. It could just be sort of like a persistent thought. And the main thing that you can do when that happens is to start to think of, I always like to turn fears inside out. So there's this, no spoilers here, but part 2 of the Stranger Things, one of the ways that they're trying to defeat Vecna is to, I loved this phrase, is to hide in the light, because the villain in this season uses fear and uses the dark stuff inside and plays it against you. And so shadow energy doesn't love the light. So if you can find something in your life that brings that light back in, it helps. And so again, I talked about watching a movie, listening to some music, talking to someone, and then also thinking to yourself a powerful positive thought, which is, I'm stronger than this. I'm creative. I'll work, I'll figure it out. That isn't saying that it's all solved. That's an affirmative and a positive projection. It's saying, I don't have the solution yet, but I'll figure it out. I'll make this work. I'll solve it. Rather than, I'm never going to do this. It's not going to work. I'm in trouble. You may need help. You can ask for help, but you're thinking to yourself, I'm strong and I'll work through this. I'll figure this out. So bring in the light. Don't hide in the light. Bring in the light. Bask in the light. That's the only way that I would have changed it. But of course, in this villain is going into this person's head. So of course they would go into a happy memory. But I really thought that was a powerful way to defeat shadow energy, was to go into the light. So with the Nine of Swords, and we see the light right behind them. It's the moon in this particular card. It's about being able to go into something more powerful than a defeatist thought. It's good to have critical questions like, what if this doesn't work out? Or so what you do is find a contingency. And then I also like to think, well, what if it does? Am I prepared for the success that follows as well? So you can what if in both directions. What if I fail? What if I succeed? Plan both ways. And then focus on why shouldn't I succeed? Keep focusing and reaching toward the light. Have a safety net in case anything doesn't work as planned. And then get some sleep. Because the Nine of Swords really does show exhaustion as a big factor into what's causing the lack of balance. And I believe I've been talking for a hot minute here, but that's what we were looking at, was how to find that balance and get back on track. So if you burn the candle at both ends, if you focus solely on critical or negative, or if you have a hard time accepting positive, then it's going to derail you. So that's what I would say here, is to really focus on getting back into something that brings lightness and light and energy into your life. Things usually are not as bad as they seem with the Nine of Swords. It's just a kind of chemical fear-induced moment that we go through sometimes, okay? All right, so looks pretty good. Trust your heart, have some fun, create some new positive energy and memories. Focus on those as you're traveling through this. Focus on also the light at the end of the tunnel, and focus on the quality and quantity of your sleep. You may need one or both. Some of us may not need a lot of hours, but we need to go through the REM cycles and have, good sleep. So make sure that you're doing that. And if you've had a schedule change like I have, even though it's temporary, I kept the permanent change even on days that I don't work. So, or that I don't do the videos, I still get up at like 4 in the morning, just so that every day I feel okay with that. And it's not like the back and forth. So those of you that are nurses or work the night shift, I have a lot of respect for you, because I'm doing one of those sort of timelines right now, and it's not easy. Your body isn't always feeling it when you have to do it. So I will say after 2 or 3 months though, and you keep the same schedule, you reprogram. Today I felt very awake. In fact, I was up at like 2:45 or 3 a.m. getting ready, starting to get stuff ready for this. Thankfully, I don't have to do this for much longer, about another month, and then hopefully new environments, so we'll see. I'll be moving sometime this month, like I said. But the way that I'm kind of transitioning through that is consistency, as much consistency as I can get. So take a page from my book. It does work, but you have to keep the same schedule. All right, so let's get ready for the next portion. If you just joined, you have perfect timing. We're going to look at the special topic today. And again, the special topic is going to be the butterfly, breaking free, expressing yourself, and creating change. Let me give you a few decks that you can choose from, and we'll take a look at those now. And if you have a request, you can throw it out and I'll consider it. I think this is a good one to put out there. Let's see, I did find the one that I was going to do, so give me a second for that one. All right, so maybe Light Seers, maybe the Wild Unknown. Let's see what else is coming through. Maybe Light Seekers. Let's see if there's one more that is calling to me for you today. Let's see, what is calling? Okay, here we go. Here's some options for us for today. All right, let me set up the poll and we'll go from there. So we have Light Seers, Wild Unknown, Light Seekers. Or no, this is Star Seeker, right? Yeah, Star Seeker. And then this is Modern Witch. Okay, let me show you the cards while you're voting, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the first one here, there we go with the Death card on that. This is the Light Seers deck, all-time fave of most of us here. Beautiful cards, beautiful messages. Then we have the nature-based Wild Unknown. Also one of my favorites because of just the simplicity of the cards and the beautiful imagery. And then Star Seekers, a fairly new deck. Also usually a crowd favorite. This one is a very Rider-Waite-Smith derivative. This one takes its own sort of like approach here, and this one's somewhere in between. This one is almost just Rider-Waite-Smith, but newer sort of illustrations, different color choices. So this is very, very close to Rider-Waite-Smith, and this is Modern Witch. All right, so let's see which one wins. And let's see how many people have voted here. We have 131 votes, and wow, it's pretty close. Looks like right now it's Light Seers and Star Seekers in the lead. So they're so close that I'll probably read with both. And I'm gonna end the poll, and it looks like Star Seekers may be the first, and because it's within 1 percentage point, which might be like 2 votes, based on how many people are voting, I'll probably use them both. All right, so Light Seer and Star Seekers are the top 2. Wild Unknown and Modern Witch we'll save for another day. Okay, give me a second to get set up and we will go from there. And let's see again, we're gonna, they're a full tie. Okay, so let's pull a card from each to see which one's going to be the one that I begin with. I very much doubt it's gonna be this one. It looks like it's gonna be this one. No, well, I'm going to go with the stronger of the 2 cards, which would be the Tower. If I were to look at which one's higher value, it's the Tower. But the 2 of Swords and the Tower, you chose these for a reason because they're transformative energies. All right, let's get started, folks. Thank you so much for voting. I like to do that when I can with you. Okay. Including the topic. If you guys didn't know, if you just joined today and you're like, what is Nicholas doing? The whole topic for today, I always put out 4 or 5 topics, I think, on the weekends. And you get a chance to vote. Sometimes you vote twice if you're either a Patreon or a YouTube member. So I like to put these things out there so that you feel like you're also helping me shape what I do. So thank you. All right, again, we're focusing on the butterfly energy of breaking free, expressing yourself, and creating a change. Loving what I'm seeing so far. Very happy that the lovers came through again for this. So far, so good. Especially with the High Priestess energy there. There we go with Judgment. All right, so let's leave this to the side. Another High Priestess, that's uncanny, very cool. Nice. Let's just make a little space here. And let's get into this. All right, so everything that we're looking at is how can we break free, find more expression, create change in our lives. Let's begin with the High Priestess. She also came through reversed. Harness your mystic power and really trust. Look at the beautiful wings behind her, which is so appropriate for today. We have Merkaba up there as well. We have the lotus that I was talking about earlier, and we have the wings here of a bird, but you could also think of it as a butterfly. Such powerful symbology in there, and even what could almost look like a phoenix on her crown. So I really love everything about this. You have the ability to create the changes that you're looking for in your life. Don't second guess yourself just because of a setback. Don't second guess yourself just because someone else is going in a different direction. There comes a point in our lives where we're asked to spread our wings, be on our own, fly down our own path. And this beautifully illustrated high priestess is really telling you to do just that. Of course, the black cat symbolizing magic, intuition. Also like 9 lives, a second chance, a third chance. You never know when it's over until it's truly over. So keep pushing through. Knowing also one thing that I didn't focus on before when we were talking about the high priestess. By the way, every time she's come through today, she's been reversed. And I do read reversals, and to me, they do have meaning. It's to trust. But high priestess is a manifestation card. So if we think, I can't do this, it won't happen, I don't deserve this, then we're sending mixed signals to the universe, because we may also really want something, but then we're like putting in the doubt. So you get weird stuff coming in return, or delays. So instead, when you feel that, you could say, it's an old pattern. I really do believe I can do it, and I'm ready to release this internal thought that I can't. Show me that I can. I believe that I can. If you have to start with like the old X-Files movie title, I want to believe, start with that, but that's not really a good manifestation mantra. I believe. Not I want to believe, I believe. I trust. I am. I can, I will, I am. That would be more kind of like your mantra than I want to. Wanting to means that you're not there yet. Can at least shows that you're able to. Will states that you plan to. Am means that you are doing. What a weird verb to be is, because you have to keep changing all the forms. When I've learned other languages, it's a lot easier to conjugate. And I'm like, we changed the complete word around so many times. No wonder it's hard to learn English. But anyway, go with the present tense. I am doing this. I am creating. And it will continue to happen. You can combine the present and the future, not the I want to. That's wishy-washy. I am, and I will continue to do this. Okay? Because you got so much high priest energy, we want to manifest with positive, affirmative, active, declarative statements, not sort of stuff, okay? Hopefully that helps. Let's go to your center card. 9 of Swords coming through yet again. So always interesting when we get repeated messages throughout a course of a reading. So what I like about the way that, is it Chris-Ann? Yeah, Chris-Ann is the illustrator and deck creator on this. So what I like what Chris-Ann did here was this one bird that is differentiating itself from the rest. It's almost like spirit coming through and saying, don't focus on all the stress or all the negativity. Focus on the light. Focus on the purpose. If you are doing something important, more often than not, there's going to be criticism, backlash, and people that think that they could do it better than you. That's part of accountability and visibility. So we don't want to kind of let the energy of those crows get into our head, basically, right? Remember the card where the guy was just sort of like, ugh. Tuning it out is really effective in thinking there's always going to be a certain percentage of people not agreeing or even giving criticism. But if there's more equal to or more than on the other side, then you're doing something important, okay? Change usually carries with it criticism. Time and history look on things different after that has passed, but often when you're in the moment, it's difficult. So judge yourself by how you would, the future you, that's just something that we do in this reading sometimes. So if your future you came in and looked at it, they would say, you're right on track, don't worry about it. Because I see down the line, 3, 5, 10 years, you won't regret doing this. So think future focus, not what's going to play to the crowd. All right? And that's what I'm getting when I look at this particular 9 of Swords. Also, again, get some sleep. Crossing this card. There is also for some of you just stress over something positive. So the 9 of Swords is that stress, but crossing the card, we had the Lovers. So for many of you, you may wonder, can I make this work? Is this person going to stay? Am I going to mess up? You've already achieved something good with the Lovers, but then there's this underlying fear, doubt, or lack of self-confidence that is just beneath the surface. We want to release that old pattern so that you can just exist with this. Somebody sees you. Something in your life has opened up and it's positive and it's shining a light on you. Embrace it and think again, I am worthy of this. I am doing this and I will succeed where I failed before. Because if we go back to that slide, let me just pull up one of the channeled messages here because I think it's super important. And I want us to kind of like circle back for just a second. So all the changes in your life, all the things that are happening right now are to set you up for this, your magnum opus. And it says, yes, something or someone is stepping away, but a more beautiful cycle is awaiting you. The best is yet to come. Things are changing because you've changed. And I think that was even here, right on this slide here. The last bullet, it says, you've changed and the world is changing to meet your new frequency. And so just as the butterfly can see things or reach places that the caterpillar can't, you can now do this because of the shift. For some of you, there's like symbolic things that happen like graduation. So now you have a degree and you have a power to reach for things that you couldn't before. For other people, it could just be the ability within to sort of say, I can do this, I am doing this, and you just sort of go out there and people see a new confidence. You don't always need a piece of paper to say that that's okay, but that can help sometimes. Whatever it is, something shifted and the world sees you differently. And if you remember that, then you will just allow the universe to disprove that belief if need be, but otherwise go with it. If positive things are coming in, it's because you've manifested them. I mean, how many high priestesses can I pull to kind of let you know that you are powerful and you're manifesting? Maybe more when I go to this deck, but I would be surprised. I would laugh if we get like a fourth high priestess today. All right, we've got the sun in reverse. This is in the deep past. So for some of you, it has been a challenge in the past to say no to someone who's maybe very self-focused, very needy. There could also be the universe kind of coming through and saying, when are you going to take care of you? When are you going to take care of yourself? So sun reversed, as a person in your life, typically it's divine masculine energy. So it can be a man or divine masculine figure in your life that has will take as much as you're willing to give. And you might have a hard time saying no to them. For you, it's saying, there's a part of me that needs to be loved, developed, and supported. When am I going to let that out? Because to me, this is something that's overdue. The sun wants to be birthed. It wants to be out there. It's one of the cards of childhood and kind of like, not frivolity, but sort of like freedom, I would actually say. So free some sort of energy from the past that's been bottled up, whether it's a desire, whether it's a part of you that you forgot and now you want to embrace. It's sort of like a rebirth energy for you, okay? And you get a couple cards of that rebirth as well. Also see it here with Judgment, the new you coming through. So we see the inner child coming out to play and you being able to realize a dream from the past. And I like that combination here, okay? Seven of Pentacles comes through as the lesson learned, but this is the fear that actually feeds the Nine of Swords. So let's talk about Seven of Pentacles and why it's reversed. The Seven of Pentacles says you are healing. It takes time to fully heal. Don't rush. It also says in respect to resources that you have enough, but you have a habit sometimes of overextending. So don't overextend. Be patient. Don't rush. As long as you focus on doing those things, you'll see continued growth and you'll go to the 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles, which are all good. This is the challenge because you can't rush certain aspects of growth and or healing. They just have to take their time and their course. And that's all you need to focus on. There's usually a final test that comes through with the Seven of Pentacles, which could be someone trying to get you in over your head to overcommit to something. It could be you being tempted to overspend or try to make everybody happy, and so you're just pulled in all directions. Be a little bit more discerning, maybe even conservative when it comes to the expenditure of your time, energy, and resources. If you do that, you should be okay. Okay? It's not, it's basically just a finding balance. You had the balance in the 6 of Pentacles, you lose it in the 7. By the time the 8 of Pentacles happens, you've got all your ducks in a row. So the 7 is just that growth spurt. And if those of you remember, like, when you were going to school and the shoes were too small and the shirt didn't fit and all of that, it's kind of like that uneven zone between one phase and the next. And so you feel a little awkward. Just trust and be patient and give yourself time to grow into a situation. Almost all of the Cups cards that we received today have been reversed. So definitely an emotional reset is on the horizon. When I saw the baby spider and I was thinking of Charlotte's Web, I think it's because it's such a sweet book and also cartoon, because I think they showed us the cartoon in school. It's hard not to sort of like remember that. But when I was talking about, he didn't actually get that the spider wouldn't live as long as he would. And there was a sadness there was death, there was mourning. So for some of us, there is this feeling like something, it's like a dandelion seed that's already in the wind and you're trying to catch it. It's time to kind of let that phase move on. So there's a release. Whatever it is that you're letting go of, it can be a physical object, it can be a person, it can be a way of thinking, but it's going to take a little time for you to navigate the emotional waves of that. You will get control over it. The Queen of Cups can do that. But as I said earlier, I think that the most potentially difficult or challenging thing for you would be to not embrace how big a deal something is. So it's good to feel. It's okay to feel. Let yourself go through it. And then when you come out of it, feel a lot better that you processed. So when it comes to emotion, the message of the day is basically to process what's happening right now. Because if you don't, whenever you have a few moments later, it's going to hit, and it will hit in a bigger way. So take the time necessary to process and understand. Channel, if you're just, by the way, this is just a really powerful card for channeling. So High Priestess and the Queen of Cups in reverse actually both work in tandem. And these two in tandem would basically say, I'm powerful, I'm creative, I'm channeling from above. And this is saying I'm going to use my heart as the filter. Third eye and heart are the two energies or the two chakras that would be attached with these two cards. So allow yourself to see it here, feel it here, and then use your throat chakra to communicate it, or just use your body or your mind to figure out how you're going to arrange it. But there's a lot of channeling happening. Some of it could be really exciting because this can be extreme, super happy, super sad, but not a lot of in the middle. So try to find a way to even it out a bit so the Queen of Cups can be her most powerful. Hello, again, we have these two High Priestess cards sitting at either ends of the spread here, both reversed. This one is focusing a lot more on the download. This one was focusing on spreading her wings and using what she got in the download, but this is the download. So let's look at this card real close. So we have the High Priestess. We see this beautiful cosmic flow of energy coming straight through the crown and even the two, I think there's at least two chakras above that, receiving all that energy and saying, I trust. I trust what I'm receiving, and I'm not going to second guess my power or my ability to make that happen in this real world. So that's all I need to say with that, is that you're receiving downloads. They may not come in the way or the shape or the form that you anticipated. Like yesterday, there was something very, very powerful when I was trying to sort through something. I got two things that were not accidental. I needed, there was a code that was given to me that was my mom's birth date. Like the year came to me. And then I also saw the name of a saint that it was her mom's favorite church, and it happened within like 10 minutes. I was trying to make a decision, and it was a different way for the universe to say, you've got help from above, don't worry about it. It was my mom coming through. So she gave me her birth date, and she showed me a saint's name that shouldn't have just randomly popped up as I was driving down the street. Suddenly felt a lot better, and I trusted my decision to not do something because I got validation, like follow yourself, follow the signs. So you can get it that way. A really significant number, like when you get 4 numbers and it's a birth date and it's a year from like the last century, there's no way that these are just accidental connections. So for me, it was meant, but it can happen with a song that you haven't heard in a long time. You can see a license plate. You can see a symbol in nature like a hummingbird or something like that. And it's the universe coming through to say, lift your frequency, or you're being guided. You're not alone. Don't give up. These are the ways that our guides and our loved ones and even our higher self can come through when sometimes we can't receive a psychic signal. Because if you're driving the car, you don't want to be receiving something through the third eye. It's easier to see a name or a number instead. Okay? So the communication from the universe can come in non-standard ways. So just trust that. And then when you see it, just think it's going to be okay. That was actually the universe saying, I've got your back. You're being guided. Keep doing what you're doing. All right? Follow your heart. As we look at how you're showing up and how others are viewing you, we've got the Ace of Cups in reverse. We want to get these Cups cards upright. So again, trust yourself, trust your heart. Don't put yourself second all the time. This is especially true of those of you that are in a support role, whether you're taking care of somebody or you're in like a teacher or a therapist or a nurse or a firefighter, you name it. There's a lot of different jobs out there where you're not putting yourself before someone else. You're focusing on their happiness, their well-being, their health, their education, etc. first. At some point, though, you have to factor in, am I okay? And this week, you have a chance to say, I need to focus on being happy, and I need to redirect my overall life trajectory to make sure that there is love, creativity, self-acceptance, satisfaction, because you came to this planet to experience that too. Enough said on that one. Well, one last thing is something could be presented to you. The reversal of the card is saying, is it good enough? You don't have to settle for anything that doesn't feel like it's in alignment with your energy, okay? In your environment, we have the Emperor card. This is both who's around you and also kind of like things that are opening up to you. When I was looking at the weekly forecast, I believe the energy for today was the Chariot, right? So who's in charge? You're going to possibly be presented with a leadership opportunity when we look at all of these cards together. This is the leader. This is your heart. This is you stepping into something new, especially if you didn't see it coming. So there could be someone that sees something in you that you don't, and you have to decide, is that me? Do I want it? Just because you're presented with something, just because the universe sees you as valid and able to do something, doesn't mean that it's what you have to do. It's just saying, especially if it's something that you've been working on your whole life, it's like, well, you finish everything, this is here. Do you want to still do it? You always have free will. You always have choice. So the rhetorical question, and it's not really rhetorical, it's the universe is putting it out there. It's saying, one, do you want what you have? Do you want what you're about to get? Is there something else that you are yearning for? It's a redirection moment right now. So it's okay to say, yes, I want what I have. I don't want this. Or yes, I'm happy with this, but I'm happy that this is coming. Or you could think, I just want to take a 180 and try something different. Let the universe know so that it can show up, direct, support, and embrace you on this next part of the journey. This is a strategic card. I cannot play chess. I've tried a few times. It's too much math and there's too many future moves. I'd rather work with cards instead, but chess is a fascinating game because certain pieces can move in diagonals or across, and it's still confusing. I've tried playing it a few times. I've tried learning it. Like anything, practice makes perfect. But what you have to do in chess is think beyond the current move. That much I can say. And what we see with this Emperor card is a strategic move. Sometimes we will decide to, sacrifice something for something else. So you might give up resources in order to learn. You might take a lateral move in order to have an experience that will help you get to the next step. So for some of you, you're being asked, is the sacrifice, is the trade-off worth it? And you have to go back to the long term, and you have to also look at the opportunity cost, how much you're spending, how much you're giving, and think, do I want to do that? And that's it. If you commit to it, then that's great. Then you're going to see momentum. Then you're going to see movement. If not, you get to move in another direction, okay? And also, this is really important too. At a certain point, something's done. Chess is done when there's no more moves to make. and checkmate, basically, right? So there might be something that happens where it's finished. You can't outmaneuver, you can't outthink, and at some point you just realize, all right, I'm done with this. And there's a freedom in it. It's not about walking away. It's about realizing the completion of a lesson, a journey, or a closing of the door. And it's just like, okay. Sometimes it's fine. There's no karma. You feel good about it. It's like a graduation. That's an ending. It can also be something where you've tried to resolve a situation, and to the best of your ability, you still can't do it despite that. And it's just sort of like, all right, checkmate. I'm going to move in another direction. I'm going to set out a new game and try something different because this is over. So you just have to decide, one, for some of you, do I want to keep doing this? Is there another move that I want to make? Or has everything kind of like panned out? Is it time for a clean slate? If it is, you're going to be fine. Some of you, there's just this acceptance of something new. I can do this. I am capable of this. For some of you, there's an understanding that this is done, but that doesn't mean I am. I'm ready to step into something completely new. So see that this is a gateway or an opening of a door right now. Your magnum opus. I keep talking about that. So I don't know why this isn't sort of like, maybe it's changed, but it didn't exist when I was in school. They would just sort of like, there was a lot of aptitude tests to see what your natural skills were. There would be a lot of expectation from family. There'd be suggestions from teachers of like what you could possibly go down, but very rarely, and maybe they would ask you like, what do you want to do? But what they sometimes didn't ask is like, these are the questions I would ask a kid if I was helping, like, let's say I'm their parent. I would say, what do you derive joy from in this life? What brings you the most satisfaction? What about the world do you wish that you could change? And what would be the impact that you would like to be, like, what's your legacy? How would you like to be remembered, and what would you like to be able to change about the world? So what brings you joy? What brings you, I would say, joy and fulfillment, and what's this legacy or lasting impact that you want to make? Those sort of things, when put together, can help align you to a path. And then I would tell my child that you're allowed to change your perspective over time, because 10 years down the line, 20 years down, 50 years down the line, your experience and the world around you will have changed. So the lens that you had, just like I have to keep getting these changed, every year or two, your view will change. So give yourself a chance to see the world differently and see how that feels to you in this moment in time, okay? You're allowed to change your mind. Maybe some of you needed to hear that. You're allowed to change your mind. And you're allowed to move to something different. And that doesn't mean that you gave up or that you threw away something or whatever. It just means that you now see things differently. So use the lens at this moment and then go with that. The outcome card is a surprise. We have the Two of Swords reversed. So the Two of Swords in reverse can be something that you didn't see coming. It's a happy and a positive. We have a power card, we have a rebirth card, and now we have like, wow, I didn't know I could do it. We have empowerment cards here backing this up too. So for some reason, some of you are surprised by your own capabilities. Don't be. This is a revelation card. So with this card in reverse, or the Eight of Swords in reverse, you would see something coming to light. So maybe you didn't know that something was possible, that something was available. Maybe there were hidden funds or a hidden opportunity. Whatever it was, we see revelation, a big reveal, the curtain being drawn up. And that's going to help bring balance to your life as well. So I feel like you're right on the precipice of surprising yourself in a good way. So push yourself a little bit to that point of discomfort, but not past that to the point of, oh my God. And you're going to be able to break through the chrysalis, and that's it. I see that you're capable of more than you believe. I'm giving you permission. You don't need it, but I'm giving you encouragement. Let's use that word. Giving you encouragement to see the world from a different perspective, to trust in your power, to manifest more positively and proactively. And if something or someone comes into your sort of perspective and says, hey, I see value in you, I see you, and you trust that person, why would you not trust what they see? So I see a lot to love. I see a child, inner child energy that wants to come out and try something new. I see a lot of power to manifest. I see you connecting with your passion in a way that you haven't given yourself permission before, because all your love cards, all your heart cards are reversed. So now you get a chance to focus on that. By the way, if you're trying to manifest love or relationships, we got all the cards we need here. We have 2 High Priestesses. We have Queen of Cups, Ace of Cups, and the Lovers. So yes, you're going to, for some of you, you're calling in love, and it's a past life connection. It's a deep soulmate connection. And it's when you least expect it and where you least expect it. So whether it's love or a job or good news, it happens in an unlikely time or environment. So be open. One of the things that you can do is say, not just I'm open to receive love in abundance in the highest forms, but also I'm open to receive more than I asked for, and that would serve my highest good and faster than I thought I could receive it. Give yourself a chance to be happily, pleasantly surprised by the universe, because it trusts you more than you trust yourself sometimes. All right. Let's go ahead and pull a card now for the big idea. And the big idea when we're looking at this is going to be sort of helping us understand, how can I maximize all of the stuff that we've talked about today? What is it all about? And again, I think what I'm going to do here after that is to pull one for each of the 3 parts of this. So breaking free, expressing yourself, and creating change, just to make sure that we answered all of those. But let's begin with the big idea first, and then we'll use this other deck that was second place for those 3 parts to today's special topic. All right, big idea first. Page of Swords, and they are upright. All right, so the Page of Swords is movement, is communication, is action. So the big idea this month is to start that energy. Now, not as active per se as the Knight, but the Page is great because it all begins, everything begins with one word, one letter, one click of the mouse or tap of the phone. So for some of you, this is like buying something or applying for something or deleting something, or again, it's just one click or one move or one word. That simple thing can create a snowball effect. So don't underestimate a single thought, a single word, or a single movement in your life. Watch with wonderment then how everything starts to take shape and take form. Now we're going to do something special today, just because I was looking at the topic on my monitor. I want to pull one card for breaking free, one for expression, and one for creation, since those were the different parts of today's special topic. All right. Breaking free, expression, creation, especially creating change. All right, so we'll take these cards one by one, beginning with the first piece, which was to break free. For breaking free, we have the Page of Pentacles, and look at what the page is holding, a book, and is looking at, it's almost like history. And if we don't know history, we're doomed to repeat it, right? So, or destined to repeat it. Let's use more lighter words. So this is really saying, take a look at what you've got. Take a look at your checkbook. Take a look at your resources. Take a look at the people around you. Look at what's there. Take stock of things. And one thing that you can do right now for the breaking free piece is you may be able to find something that you can access. So maybe there's an asset that you're not using, and you can liquidate that asset. Maybe there is an offer or an opportunity that has been presented to you and you haven't reached out and said, yeah, let me try that. Or, okay, let's do this. There's something in the details that's going to provide more resources that will allow you to make the clean break. The other thing here is, what have you committed to? And also, what are you contracted to do? Contractually obligated to do, I should say. Look at the fine print. There could be an escape clause. There could be something that you need to do before you can do the next thing. So do what you came to do and then leave in a way that is compliant with whatever it is that you agreed to do. So looking at contracts and releasing and finishing out the old contracts. One thing that we can do, I need to write it down because I channel a lot and I forget sometimes. So I'm going to do two things in the meditation today to help you. We're going to use butterflies to help us with a contract release. But I'm going to use butterflies, and the butterflies are going to come out of the solar plexus, and then I'm going to work with a contract release. Just so I don't forget that, I wanted to put it down here on some paper. Okay, so we got that on the side. So that's what's going to help, because with this, I feel like there's also a necessary contract release to break free. With the contract release, it can happen in a past life, so I will help you through that. Sometimes we took a vow of chastity or poverty, et cetera, and we need to release the old contracts. Sometimes we just need to fulfill a contract, whatever. I'll help you through that when we meditate today. Moving on to the second of the three things that we were going to focus on, expressing yourself. This is a really cute card. So we see the King of Wands here, and he has a domesticated cat on his back. Really cute. So I love both Queen and King of Wands because of their ability to think through things. And also what I like about Wands, and it's a really good card for expression, is nonverbal, showing things. The King of Wands will show in actions and nonverbal communication or visual aids what it is that they're trying to do, versus the King of Swords, who's going to talk it to death, possibly. Or, usually it's talking or communicating. Or maybe just, it's usually that. I'm going to keep it simple for this. So what you can do this month to really express yourself is to not worry so much about picking the perfect words. Show in how you communicate, like I'm doing with nonverbal cues. Show with visual aids. Even showing, I would say, in the tone of your voice, things that aren't the words themselves, but that color and shape the words. Other forms of communication are going to be just as important. So show it, don't just say it. And then walk the walk, don't just talk the talk. All of that is going to be important here. And I love that the cat is right back there too, saying, trust your intuition, trust your power, trust your magic, because that's really what the cat represents in Wands, is this ability to be really tuned in. So look at other people's nonverbals as well. And then part 3 was to create change. And in order to create change, you are going to have to reset things for people. So this 7 of Wands, she's not in the typical defensive stance. She instead is holding up the 2 of Wands, which is saying, let's reset this cycle and focus. I've got the 2 of Wands here. Let me see if I can find the 7 real quick. She is resetting expectations. And so sometimes people just need to see it from a different perspective. She's also showing people like, hey, this is what we agreed to do. Let's do it. Rather than just pushing back and trying to force something to be done. There comes a point when you are using the forceful side of the 7 of Wands where it just becomes pushy and you can push too far. And so we're going to look at the 2 Rider-Waite-Smith cards that this one combines. So there's the 2 of Wands, which is I have a vision, I'm resetting the vision, or I'm sharing the vision, I believe in the future. Then there's this one, which is I can do everything that I set my mind to. I can defend myself. Sometimes I'm overly defensive. Sometimes I tell people to back down. You put these 2 cards together and we have instead a 5 of Wands, which is get the work done. And you get the work done with the 2 of Wands within it, which is saying, again, let's reset. So actually this card has 3 cards within it. The other one is the 5 of Wands because they've sort of like merged them all in a genius way. So you are being asked to be a leader. And this is how you're going to create change. I'm going to pull all 3 cards so that you can see this sort of challenge in front of you. It's really cool. I never saw this one from that perspective. Maybe it's because I got enough sleep last night. A lesson in, again, you got to get enough sleep, folks, because it came through for all of you too. It does make a difference. Here's the 5 of Wands. All right. That card had all 3. So this is what needs to happen right now, because when we look at it, everyone in front is busy. What we notice, though, is that they're looking up to her rather than fighting against one another. So in the traditional 5 of Wands, there's a lot of messy work being done, and nobody's really doing it effectively. What she's doing is holding up the plan resetting expectations. Sometimes she could be saying, hey, we set out to do this, but this is going to be smarter. Let's do this. So it's this sort of big purpose and big reset. And that's going to be more effective than, hey, you said you were going to do this, you better get it done. This is corporate so often, right? We said to our investors that we would release this in Q4. So even though the product's not ready, we're going to release it in Q4. The smarter thing would be to say to investors, we want to make a splash. There's a lot of competition right now. We don't want to go out with the wrong foot. We're going to do it in Q1 instead. Or we're going to release phase 1 now and then phase 2 then. Reset expectations and realign to purpose and lead the sort of path here. Don't just sort of like focus on competition. That card has 3 cards in one. So you are going to win the day with this card. And then people are going to follow suit with this card. And you're avoiding the pushiness that's normally the 7 of Wands. So you don't force it. Plant a seed if you need to. And if you don't have the power to lead, talk to the leader and say, I'll do this, but think about this. Just think about it. And then if things are not working, they may come back and they'll try to take ownership of it or something. But if it helps and serves the highest good, maybe that's okay with you. But that's what I see is being able to reset expectations, including your own sometimes. We just have to say, I thought I was going to do this, but I'm not going to force something that isn't going to happen. All right, folks, let's get ready for a very important part of the reading, which is going to be 2 parts. We'll meditate. I'm going to play the larger sound bowl today, and or singing bowl, and then we're going to look at a final card. Final card is the one point where you can ask a question, and I'll basically take a look at it silently. You ask the question, and we'll look at it together. All right, before I do that, one final reminder to hit the subscribe button, again, especially this month where my schedule may change based on my upcoming move. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video as well. It's all free and it helps me out. Follow me on social media if you haven't already. I use stories to remind you of upcoming videos. Thanks in advance to anybody that chose to give back today. I will say your name at the end. Remember, if you do follow me anywhere, including here, I do not use direct messages or chat of any sort for business. So if anyone tries to reach out to you, it's not me. And I don't offer private readings. So if anyone's offering anything and it's not me talking live, it's not real. Okay? So let's get ready for the meditation. I'm going to grab the sound bath, the sound bowl behind me so we have it for the sound bath, and then we'll get started. So for today, I wrote it down on that piece of paper, thankfully in front of me. We're going to use butterflies to help us with a contract release. So imagine, if you will, that you are standing in a beautiful garden. There are flowers of almost every different color and size around you. It's like a botanical garden, and everything is available. Find something that you like. Find your favorite flower. And imagine that there's a little open patch of grass where you can lay down, and you just kind of take it all in. You can see the flowers almost kind of like surrounding you like this blanket, and you see the sun shining above you. And just close your eyes for a moment and smell the fragrant scent of all the different flowers mixing in the air. Listen to the sound of the bees and the birds and the butterflies around you as well. And notice this gentle sort of presence that starts to surround you. You notice a very small collection of butterflies, around 7 to 10, and they're sort of pollinating the different flowers. One of them lands on your nose, looks into your eyes for a moment, and says, are you ready to change? Are you ready for the change that wants to come through in your life? All you have to do is say, yes, I am ready. And as you say, yes, I am ready, the butterfly intuitively moves to the part of your body that needs the most healing. And the remaining butterflies align to the energy points in your body. There were 7 that are going to do that. And then the remaining 3 or 4 will go to parts of your body that need to receive healing and upgrades. As the butterflies are flying around or gently landing on your body and moving their wings, the energy in your body is also starting to subtly move. I want you to focus on things that you've said you would do or things that maybe you've promised in a past life. And we're going to do a contract release so that you're free. You're free and capable and able to walk into the future, untethered. So, eyes closed, butterflies doing their work. What you're going to say to yourself is something along the lines of this. I release all contracts, all things said and unsaid in past lifetimes. Any debts, any contracts, or anything that I've somehow lined up in this life that is creating tension for me. These things no longer serve me. They no longer have a place in this lifetime. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the all of the sort of context that this gave me, but I no longer need this. In releasing myself from this contract and releasing myself from this person, I free myself. I want you to specifically think of a person in your life that's causing trouble or tension, or that you're kind of like ready to release and allow someone else to come in. See the person for all of their issues, all of their charm, and simply say thank you and goodbye. I do not seek retribution. I am not angry. I understand you came through as a teacher and as a teaching energy for me. Class is dismissed. I'm ready to move on. I don't need this lesson anymore. Take a really deep breath and push the energy of that person out. See the contract being ripped up, evaporating, or burning in front of you, and say you're free to go now. And feel that freedom also coming back to you in kind. For those of you that are having trouble with money, release any debts from past lifetime or from this past life or this lifetime, and say, I release all debts, all promises, all vows of poverty, also vows of chastity, so that I may receive love and abundance in the highest forms. I am worthy. I can do this. I will do this. I am doing this. See yourself untethered and free from all contracts and all anchors, and know now that the butterflies have done their work, because energetically, just like the High Priestess card, you see these beautiful wings forming behind you. And in this moment in time, energetically, you feel as if you could float or fly and see things from a different point of view. As I play the singing bowl now, just relax and allow your energy to go higher, allow the perspective to shift, and see yourself as being worthy. Take a deep breath. Focus on affirmative thoughts, nothing that's limiting, nothing that's taking you back or taking you away from your power. Say to yourself, it will be easier, it can be easier. I do see options and openings coming through. Even if today they're not showing themselves, I trust that they will soon avail and show themselves to me. Take a deep breath. On the exhale, move your hands together. Put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that. I want you to focus on whatever final question you might have for me. me just move this for a moment. I'll come back and take a look at that question. All right, let's take a look and see what the answer is from the universe. All right, we have the Death card and the Death card in reverse. This is a really cool Death card because much like the card that we would see in the Light Seers deck, it's basically showing that it's a portal. So let me see, because I think I had this one in the presentation as well, correct? Yes. All right, so we'll have both of these cards here because it came through as one of the things that we were going to talk about at the beginning. So I mentioned it in the Charlotte's Web sort of point of view, which is the best is yet to come. We see both of these being gateways into the unknown. And yes, sometimes we have to work through a loss or a perceived end, but it is typically a beginning shrouded in that sort of fear of change. Death is a good energy to come through. The reversal of this is saying, I'm tired of stagnating. I'm not going to limit myself. I'm going to give this a shot because what else really have I got to lose and what else is presenting itself to me? Sometimes we have no choice but to change. And so to me, this would say, it's a yes. Yes, it's time to make a change. That's really the message here. If it's a yes, no, Death reverse is saying something in your life is stagnating or not allowing the growth that you need. So the best path for you would be the one towards change, towards movement. And if there's anything that's safe but stagnant, it's not really safe in the long run because just like quicksand, eventually you're kind of sinking in that. So it's time to move to higher ground. It's time to embrace change. It's time to transform. So the transformation card I'm sure on some decks is just a butterfly. Death can be the butterfly too, much like judgment can be a butterfly. So this is a beginning. What do you choose to begin with next? What do you choose to go through next? Because change is happening, like it or not. Kind of like what I was saying for the air signs this week. There's change and there's movement, and it's just a matter of how willing you are to move with it. It's not if, it's more like when. So why not now? Why not now? Why not make the change now? Why not make the movement now? Okay? And see the opportunities for change and growth. By the way, I forgot to look at Health, Wealth, Love, and Destiny, so we're going to look at those now. We got so into the reading. We're going to do that now. I didn't forget, but I just remembered. Nobody said, hey, Nicholas. All right, so before we wrap up today, let's take a look at this. And anyone that left early, they'll catch this on the replay. All right, so a message for health right now. The healthiest and the best thing that you could focus on is being the most generous you, the best version of you, okay? So with this maple spirit here, what I see here is that the tree keeps giving throughout the year. It reminds me a lot of that giving tree, right? Like it kept giving pieces of itself until it was just a stump. But the maple, you can actually tap into it even when all the leaves are gone rather. So for you, there's a hidden store of energy right now. When you think it's done, you're going to be able to find this second, sort of like you're going into second gear. You're getting a second wind here, which is great. So allow yourself to just push a little bit, and then you'll find, like an athlete, that you were able to push through and go past the finish line. The other messages with respect to health this month have to do with not letting go of something that's coming through. So if you feel like something's happening, trust that that is accurate. Trust that that is something that needs to be listened to, and don't sort of sweep it under the rug. Emotional stability and mental health came through in a really big way this month, so focus on that as well. If there's been a setback, there's also an unexpected comeback that can happen with this setback, and it's kind of getting used to a new norm, but maybe pushing beyond your own internal thoughts were like, I'll never have this or I'll never do this. You may be able to do things that were unexpected, so allow your mind to push your body into places that it didn't know it could go. And this is really for those of you that are springing back from a recovery. Again, you're going to be working with professionals as you go through all of this. So standard disclaimer applies here. But what I see is that you could surprise yourself and things could go better than anticipated. Focusing on vision, focusing on the brain, focusing on mental health. All of those are things that I talked about in the channel messages from earlier. For wealth, we have the Dreamtime or Creation card. So with this, there is a message right now to pay attention to your dreams. That's what I do every day that I show up and talk to you guys. I bring a little bit of what I was shown in dreams, and I also bring a little bit of what I see as I get prepared for the presentation. And we see here, for many of you, is just a chance to sort of like really put that lens towards the impossible or what's possible, because that's the one thing that we have that's so valuable as a child that gets kind of like beaten down as we get into the real world, the corporate world, the world outside. So go back into the dream phase and pay attention to what it is that calls to your heart, because the more inspired and connected you are, the better you're going to be at your job or at manifesting or creating money and opportunities in your life. As we look at just the general cards here for work, some of you are done with a course of work. The Nine of Swords and the Judgment card together are saying that the stress is not worth it. You can't see a way to exist in a current situation anymore. The High Priestesses, because we got two of them, are saying, don't worry, we've got your back, we're manifesting something better. The suggestion here is to have more power and autonomy and more passion in what you do next. If you decide to transform a situation, remember the beautiful message that we got from Seven of Wands, which was to lead by resetting expectations, not by forcing people to do stuff. This sort of visionary leader, that's really what she is. It's all about vision in this card. So showing the vision, people are attracted to that vision. And again, if it's time to go, it's time to go. Something better awaits. So overall, I see you have to kind of decide, is it worth the energy? And if not, with Judgment and Death here, you can rise above this. You can transform through this. As we look at love, very interesting this month, we have Sacred Vision here, almost like a twin card. Choose to forgive in order to heal, see the light in all, remember that love has no boundaries. Kind of going back to what we talked about earlier with Stranger Things, where it was like hide in the light, I would say like shine in the light. Go into that higher energy in relationships this month and don't let the other partner sort of bring you down or try to help them see the positive. Let's focus really quickly, just very, very briefly on those of you in relationships. Clearly, there's a lot of love. Also, I would say in a current relationship, to get both the Sun and the Judgment card would show me like twin stars, a very deep connection, a past life connection. However, it's difficult right now. One or both of you are feeling stress, money, healing. Both of these things are kind of bringing some stress into your life. You've got a lot of power and potential though, because also the partners here are the two High Priestesses. So you've brought in this great manifestation energy. You can work through this together. I think there could be a clash of control because of the Emperor card here. So you may not, if you don't see a way through this, then it's self-perpetuating. So come through, we keep going back to the Seven of Wands, lead by example and lead with a vision in the relationship and you'll be okay. Show how you feel, don't necessarily tell how you feel, because there's a very sensitive energy with the Queen and the Ace of Cups that they may deal with actions better than words. And I'm not always that kind of person that would say that, but today I'm seeing a little bit of that here. And that's basically the message here for those in love. If you're looking for love, you need to deal with your own stress and finances first, and you need to let the dust settle first. Someone is being kind of thrown into your trajectory, but they're going to react based on how much you've cleaned up your life, or the quality of the person is definitely going to be a factor of all of these things. So letting that inner child come out to play, allowing your emotional self to be fully healed, taking ownership and driving the chariot, as we talked about earlier, and seeing the good, the bad, and the stuff that you want to change and kind of seeing how you're going to do that is going to be key. So clean it all up, because you're bringing in a really, really deep and high spiritual partnership, and you and they deserve to have the best version of you ready for that. So I definitely see love could be coming through. It could be a water sign, but there's some work that needs to be done in order to get that in the place that you want it to be, okay? Fight the right kind of fights. It's interesting that we have, it looks like Mars here in that sort of chess piece on this one. Don't just fight for the sake of fighting, fight the right fight, and fight for this future that we're seeing here, okay? And for those of you that are single and happy, I just see this as a really good month for you to regain power, to see potential that you didn't before, you have a couple shots at manifestation. So keep trying and you may surpass or surprise yourself. You could still pull in a really key partnership that could end up being a close friend to you, even if you're not looking for love. The one thing everybody needs to focus on is matters of money and healing and giving themselves time for that. And this is all setting you up so that you can basically succeed with this grace. Grace and gratitude actually make a really good leader and a very successful person. So as you are able to manifest, say thank you and show how good it is to be in this moment and how grateful you are to be where you are. So that was the abbreviated, but nonetheless, I actually think it was nice to have it at the end for a change because we had all the energy of everything plus the meditation and a little bit there for the road and a very nice thank you for anyone that stuck around. Otherwise, they can see it in the timestamps later. All right. Now, let's do the gratitude portion. For whatever reason, the universe wanted me to do that last, and they yelled at me before I went to thanks because I was looking at the cards on the table. I'm like, wait, we didn't talk about those. All right, so I always like to end with some thank you here. So earlier this week, I forgot to say thanks on the bonus reading. So depending on how many folks said thank you today, I may try to put them both in there. So give me a second here, and I will get the dashboard set up. And I'm going to first start with members though. So we're going to welcome any new members that joined, and then we'll go to super stickers and super chats. So for the new members, I know we had at least one because I saw it. I'd like to welcome Melissa Logan, a brand new channel member. It's good to have you. We have someone rejoining us here, Kitty Cat Black. Thank you so much for 9 months of membership. Amanda Stewart, brand new member as well. Welcome aboard. Laura M. Martin, also a brand new member. Jay Scully, I think I saw that name as I logged in this morning, so thank you for joining. And then I think everybody else is from yesterday. But I'll still say thanks for those as well. We have Sylvia Capone, Channery V, Tony D, Josephine Rees, and those are the ones that I remember saying from the other day. So welcome to all of those new members. And now I'd like to say thanks to anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat. And a reminder while I'm getting this set up that I will be live tomorrow as well on the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to all of my American viewers. And but to everyone else, I'll be working because it's a regular day. So I'll be looking at, I believe, Taurus and then Gemini and Cancer later next week. I'll have those videos so you can set reminders later today. All right, so today, let me start with anybody that contributed. I want to say thank you to Aaron H. for kicking things off. I appreciate you. Jules in July, Sheena Davis, Queen of Wands Intuitive, Monica, Shay Zabari, I think it is, Suzanne Alamango, the Amba, Michelle Bakoff, Lucy Rodriguez, Allison Spates, Katie Shore, Kendra Williams, thank you for the 49, I appreciate that, Kathy Ahern, Shannon C., Jeannie Hart, Adrian Wagner, let's see, Anna Taborska, I think it is, Leslie Horan, Jane Badon, Mermaid Crystal, Laura M. Martin, thanks again for the 49, I appreciate that, Janine Fair, Sheena Wheelock, Hassan D., Rosie Karina, Melissa P., and K. George. And real quickly, because I didn't have a chance to say thanks on the bonus, also thanks to Alicia's Rants, Melissa P. again, Leslie Martinez, and Elizabeth Vesta Alvesta, Angela Cole, Joy to the World, Leslie Martinez, Vegas Virgo Tarot, Mermaid Crystal, Isa Gogo, Mary, Alexander Stewart, Yvette Sanchez, again, Adrian Wagner, Sarah Jacob, Amber, Aphrodite Goddess 369, Monica, Megan Seaman, let's see, Anna V, Phoebe, Miss Shay's Ish Show. There we go. I forgot to say thanks before, and I said I was going to say thanks today. So thank you to all those folks. Much love and light to everybody. Again, I will be live Monday, Thursday, Friday, and again on Sunday. That's my schedule every week. And this month, if anything changes, you'll be able to see it on my main page. I'm going to release it week by week because at some point I'll be moving. A lot of changes going on for me as well. So I appreciate your patience as I kind of navigate through that. Until I see you again, lots of love and light. Thanks for a real special reading today and for showing up, working on yourself, making some time. It means a lot to me. All right. If you liked what you saw here, remember to share it with others so that they can discover this as well. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Have a splendid day and a splendid week ahead. Lots of love and light. Bye-bye.